All right, good morning, guys. Today's lecture, this is on sketching. This time we're going to talk about projections and the way we look at things when we sketch them. So, first thing is proportion. Try and keep the proportion of things correct. This one you can see it's supposed to be even on both sides, and it's not. The proportion is not good on the sketch. Proportion between this 4-inch dimension, this 25-inch dimension, not really there. So you want to try and keep your proportions aligned so that they're correct. Also, the horizon line of where you're looking, are you looking down on something with the horizon lower, or looking up at something with the horizon higher? That's what you want to kind of pay attention to. So there's three main types of drawing. Pictorial views, which is what we're going to talk about today. One is perspective, which is how we actually see things that are further away or smaller than things that are close up. And so that's one way. Isometric and oblique are both what we call parallel perspective or parallel projection, separate than perspective projection, because they're not how we actually see things. But it makes things easier to draw because the lines are parallel instead of all at different angles, trying to make things smaller as they go further away. So let's look at this real quick. So here we have some 2-point perspective. So take a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, and then what you'll do is you'll draw a single point, or a single vertical line. In order to use 2-point perspective, you have to go like from that line, kind of draw your projectors going back towards those 2 points, and then at some point put another vertical line for the size of it, and then from that point you have to go back again towards that projector there, and that one towards that projector there, and then you can do those. We can kind of find that corner from where that line meets that line. Okay. So that's 2-point perspective. And just by describing it, you can see that it takes a lot of work because you're going back and forth. You're having to draw all the way out to here and then cut stuff off in order to get the perspective. It's really good for art because it makes things look more realistic, but it's just too much time for what we're doing. It's easier to draw in parallel. So the first way to draw in parallel projection for a pictorial view is isometric. And so you draw a vertical line, then you have lines at 30 degrees this way and 30 degrees that way. It's pretty easy to keep track of. So kind of to get started, print out some isometric graph paper. If you just search on Google for print graph paper, there'll be a bunch of things that come up. I also have one linked in the class. I think I'll put the link in the video also for the graph paper that you can print out. And that way you can kind of keep those lines parallel. So anything that's on the 30-degree line, you can measure. So if you needed to measure that line, you can measure it. You can measure that one. It's a lot easier to kind of get to see. And most of the time, it'll be kind of the front, the right, or the top, but it also could be the front, the left, or the top. Or in the case here, either the front or the right or the left up here, and then the bottom, kind of looking at it from the underside. So that's isometric. There's also oblique. Oblique is where you draw the front looking straight at it, just like you would in multi-view. And then you use lines that go backwards to give it the depth. And you can see that those lines going back could be at a shallow angle from the horizontal. And I'll show you more of the side of the part. They could be at 45, or they could be a little steeper. So this was like 30, 45, and 60 degrees. So at 60, it shows more of the top and less of the side. That's okay. A lot of times in oblique also, you'll make this line not the full depth. So if this part was really 1 inch deep, you draw this at 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch deep, just to help keep it looking better. If you draw it the full depth, it looks a little off. So that's oblique. And so those are the three main ways of drawing pictorial views in drafting. So try those out. And so there you go.